All right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back today. We're playing more Fragged Kingdom 2. It's very tempting to say Electric Boogaloo after that, but I'm not. So if you're watching this, you hopefully have watched part one of our play here as we've been running through and testing out the system a little bit, seeing what we think of it. This is part two, so this is a continuation of that story. Also, Fragged Kingdom is up on BackerKit right now. If you look into the description of this episode, this video, this podcast version, whatever it is you're watching it, and you'll find a link to it. And so you can actually take a look, see if it's for you, see if you want to back it, all that kind of good stuff. We made a couple mistakes first time around that we're going to call out and try to fix. And a few of us realized that we've been making that mistake going back to when we played Fragged Empire.
Whoopsies.
And feel really stupid all of a sudden.
Whoopsies.
But critical boost, which is a strong hit. So in this game, when you're attacking somebody, you roll a number of d6s equal to your weapon. Your weapon usually has that number. And if you roll a 6, you get a strong hit. And a strong hit can be spent to get additional effects, like a crit. But then there's this thing called critical boost. We were playing it, you just kind of boost your critical damage. That is not entirely true. You have to your target has to be at 0 endurance first, which we weren't doing. But since we both did it, I feel like it worked out in the wash. So we're all good. Okay, so we're not going to wind it all the way back. But just for those of you who are watching.
Since we were both dirty cheaters.
No, GM Fiat, for me, you were cheating.
I'm a dirty cheater.
There's no such thing as player Fiat. So
I also can't read. So I take the Steven defense here.
Yeah.
Where's my Nightbot?
My other mistake.
Sorry, I didn't come up with that.
I cheat. It's just,
Melissa cheats all the time. She cheats at board games, especially. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but she knows that she's cheating.
Sometimes.
She does it.
Usually it's later that I'm like, oh, right, that's what that rule meant. Whoopsies.
Yeah. The other mistake, this was also in your favor too, by the way, is that I just, when I had some of my bandits attacking them and they got down to 0 endurance, I just let them die. But in fact, shouldn't have done that because when they get down to 0 durability, that they should die, which is something I think I knew. I just forgot because it's been like a year since we played Fragged Empire. So I think I'm okay with that, right? So shut up, Steven. So there we go. Okay. He was making a face. Okay, so we're gonna pick up. Let's do. Tell us who you're playing. Let's do like a quick note again on who you're playing. So Jeremy, who are you playing?
I'm playing Gaius Bird Dragon, a Legion Knight. Just a very sophisticated gentleman. Just trying to get the job done.
Just like the player, right?
Yeah,
just like the player.
I'm so
gigantic, enormous, and sophisticated.
I don't roleplay. I just insert myself into fantasy worlds.
That's all it is. I mean, Steven does the same thing. We'll get to him in a second. Let's go.
Doesn't he play charming characters though?
Not yet. Let's see.
I claim to be.
He starts that way. He's like, on paper, I'm charming. And then you start role playing. I'm like, no, I'm not anymore. What happened?
No.
So
and
weird.
Then for first interaction with an NPC, he wants them to go get him coffee, and there goes that.
I'm going to be a nice person. What are you doing here? Go get me coffee.
Yeah,
it's still. Yeah, this is a player issue. Melissa, tell us who you're playing.
I am playing Esther Law. She is a Kaltoran technomage, so she is all about the fire stuff and the metallurgy stuff. And she's got the ancestral memory stuff because she's Kaltoran.
Awesome. Fantastic. And 4 years or 4 points to their 2 years, something like that. Okay.
4 years.
Maitre, who are you playing?
I am playing Selma Crown Horn, a Drasim soldier, and the race is like Proto-Nephilim, which is really cool. And she definitely has like a weird little crush on Gaius' mom.
Yeah. That's not the first time that's it. Fantastic.
Oh, that's
fantastic.
Great. That's great.
And then finally, Stephen, who are you playing?
I am playing Easel, a Tolotl aristocrat, just a sophisticated lady.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And dressed for the occasion. You've been
tasteful, like
mountain climbing, going through brambles, in a forest in a dress and heels. So
with tasteful leg showing.
Honestly,
no matter what Melissa
it's like that
says.
old X-Files joke that Scully did everything that Mulder did, but did in heels. So she's way better. Right.
Fair point.
Honestly.
Fair point.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, so quick recap. First episode, what we did. So what you all are on a job. You are working. You were hired as mercenaries by the Viscount of House Kudya, of the Kingdom of Ire, to head up into the Bramblesong Mountains, which is a section of the Twisted Forest, which is this large region that has been kind of overtaken by nature, and it's been that way for a while. And now you're kind of going out and reclaiming these different kingdoms and houses are going out and trying to reclaim that land. You were headed up there to try to figure out why they weren't meeting their quota anymore. Stuff wasn't getting sent down river to them. They're logging camp. You were supposed to speak with a remnant foreman by the name of Ondai Masuka. But when you arrived, you found that the entire place was deserted. And as you started searching around, you realized like there were signs of violence. There were signs of, and then there was notes suggesting that they had some kind of interaction with some kind of Neph spawn, specifically in the form of a spider. There was also some tracks potentially leading away from the camp. And then you had an encounter with a group of bandits led by a legion. And it got a little bloody, and you guys got into a fight. They were here; they had arrived the day before. Eventually, you won the fight. A couple of them fled. You managed to interrogate their legion leader. She told you a little bit what she could tell, which is that they arrived here the night before. It was completely empty. There's no one here, and that they were just salvaging some of the equipment, some of the machinery. And she also kind of warned you that this region is known to have these expansive webs and tunnels underneath the mountain that are occupied by these intelligent spiders, these intelligent Neph spawn who can speak and all that kind of stuff. So you, after letting them go, you decided to follow a more recent trail that Esther found. And it took you deeper into the forest through some brambles, and you found a survivor, one of the Talatl taskmasters named Tanakh. And you basically learned that the spiders had come and they had said that you built this logging camp on our territory, and you need to pay like a tithing, and so they wanted meat, they wanted artifacts, and the foreman said no. You found evidence of this sort of interaction as well as you were searching around the camp. And then about a night later, all the spiders came up from the ground and attacked the camp, took people. Some people fled, including Tanakh in his like night shift that were just coming back. That's how he survived. He also mentioned that a day later, he had come back to see if anybody else had made it back. And he found that the logging camp was being kind of pilfered by a troll who attacked some of the survivors who were trying to flee. And so he ran away once more. And so the last thing we saw was you guys speaking with Tanakh. He was telling you like, hey, we need to leave. It was nighttime. And then you heard some skittering. You got really quiet. You hid. You looked down and you saw these very large spiders the size of big dogs coming up out of the tunnels in the ground. So we are going to pick up just talking a little bit. You guys didn't want to interact with the spiders. You didn't want to fight them. You wanted to just let them leave, and they did. They weren't necessarily looking for you. So we're going to pick up the next morning. Now we're going to say that you all managed to rest a bit. It's not as nice and developed as your camp would be, but it does allow you to get a lot of your endurance back here. You have to concentrate and bruises and stuff. But morning will come. You all were not attacked in the night. Tanakh has found a very good hiding spot, and he has also warned you about if you're on the surface, they're more able to sort of sense where you're at. Like they can kind of feel this tremor sense, right? But up in the trees, which is where he had been hiding, it was harder for them to locate. So morning comes, the sun's come up. You all are here. You're at your max endurance right now. I know some of you took some max endurance damage, but you're full on endurance right now. What are you guys saying to each other? What's the plan? What are we talking about?
clearly we need to go find the rest of the laborers and get the camp productive again.
That sounds like an excellent idea. The three of you do that. The Legion and I will stay here. Make sure this place is safe
No.
for your return.
No. Gaius comes with us. We move together. If you don't want to come and rescue your compatriots, then that's your choice. But the four of us are moving as one.
Honestly, it's probably better that you stay, as we will need management to train the new employees that will be coming in. So yes, your responsibility will be to return to camp and begin clearing that logjam and making it productive once again.
But what if the troll comes back? Why, you're gone.
I'm sure you'll be able to hide.
I already
You
did
have been
that.
receiving wages, and you have not been working.
Or you could come with
I
us.
was paid for... I'll go back to the camp. I'll go back to the camp. Yeah. Okay. I'll go back to the camp and I'll I can hide on the roofs. That's what I'll do. And I can fit in the chimneys and
make sure to clear the logjam.
So okay. Right. So I'll keep an eye out.
I would like to ask you, what other nature of equipment do you have active in the camp?
It took
Do you
some
have any
damage.
machine?
Sure. We got saws and planes, to shear some things here and there, and got all sorts of pulleys and everything for moving stuff around.
Yes.
Uh,
I understand it's not
That's about
operable
it.
for the use within the camp. However, if you say that these spiders sense the tremors, I think it would be appropriate, before we go down to the caves, that you, the intelligent taskmaster that you are, will establish the working of this equipment to create noise to distract away from the direction we're going.
But if I make noise there, then that means they might come and investigate the noise, and then they might attack me.
Well, it's going to... You already saw them go in that direction. You'll draw them in the direction you're going, but you won't be there when they come back because you're too clever and too fast.
But he said that I have to wait at the camp until...
Well, you go ahead
people
and you
return.
use these pulleys and systems to clear the logjam. When it is clear, you may, of course, take your mandated day off, which you are required per your contract. And then after your day off, you return and get the camp productive.
Or you could come with us.
Or you could...
I really don't think I would be of much use to you in the tunnels. I'm very claustrophobic, personally. I don't really like tight spaces. I like the open sky. Yeah.
Well,
So
going back to camp it is.
I guess I could just stay here too, right?
Well, no, that would not be advised because we will be making quite a bit of racket around here as we go looking for the trolls and the spiders.
Oh, well, I mean, if I just stay here and you make a bunch of noise elsewhere, that means they're all going to go to you. And I'll be fine.
You do have your...
You won't be... If it's possible, I'd love to do a leadership check. You might be fine in the short run. You don't have the supplies. You don't have the infrastructure to get back to civilization. If we don't make it, you don't make it. And the best chance for us to make it is for you to create this distraction. Help us help you survive. Do your fucking job. I'm not going to sugarcoat it like Easel.
Go ahead and roll it. Plus
Would I
2.
be able to assist with the wealth, or is that not?
I don't think wealth in this case
that's right.
would help, as he seems more scared for his life.
So
But-
plus 2? Okay, I'll take it.
I was just trying to assist. It's fine. It's no big deal.
You do a persuasion. You can roll a persuasion for
Oh my
an assist.
god. I have a plus 5. Is that a critical fail?
Yes.
I rolled
That's
just
my
like
second
last
critical
session.
fail.
Just like last session. My first roll of the night. 3 ones.
Wow.
Plus 5 on the
crap.
roll.
Wow.
Oh,
And I pulls out a
God.
dagger and stabs Gaius.
And I don't think you can. I don't think you can grit that, can you?
No. You
No.
can't re-roll
No.
crit fail.
Oh my god!
It's really funny, though. It's really funny. I want to see this.
It's really- so here's what he says.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, I can do that. No problem. I'll head back.
Sure.
Make all sorts of noise, distract. Yeah, no problem. I got it taken care of.
Excellent. I'm glad you've agreed.
You got a real smart legion over here. Very crafty, this one. You know?
Well, he's not the leader of the group, but he is paid well.
Right. Yes. Well, there you go. There you go. Okay. Well, I mean, of course he's not the leader. You're here. Of course you are. You know. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess y'all better be on your way.
We're gonna go. Thank you for letting us spend the night in your perch.
Sure thing. It was fun having you. You all seemed like good people.
We're going to go rescue all of the rest of your group, and I'm sure you'll be very happy to see those that we can gather.
Speak it into existence. I like your optimism.
That's so bad.
Can
I'm
we
sorry.
climb down?
So you guys start climbing down.
We do.
Okay.
Bunch of great rolls.
So good. Such a good reaction. Yep, gonna do that.
I love it.
Sure gonna do that.
Gaius.
There's nothing I enjoy more than a critical fail. Like I just find it so much fun.
He's got great leadership. His leadership is amazing. His persuasion, abysmal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he climbs down with you and he's like, all right, I'll see you. And he starts heading in a different direction than you all. So what is your plan? What do you all want to do?
Well, clearly we trust that he's going to be creating a distraction.
Of course. Why would you say
I think we would try to follow the tracks of the spiders from the night before and see if there's a tunnel that they go down.
And if there's spiders, there's probably like a nest or some sort of central area.
Finding a tunnel down is not a problem. You don't have to no skill roll necessary. It just takes 20 minutes wandering this hillside and you find one. So you can certainly climb down if you wish. Is that your intention?
And Esther, I believe you should go first as you have the light source.
Yes, that I do. It seems as if perhaps the light source. Yes, sure, I'll go first. So it's Aura 12 is my orb.
Okay. All right. Let me switch the music here a little bit. I have special music for below.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Below.
Below.
I mean,
above.
It's also one of my favorite organs. Okay. So y'all start climbing down.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. When you all drop down, you realize the climb down is much more vertical than you thought it would be. It's not hard necessarily. Actually, you know what? Everyone give me a physical test. Give me a physical test.
Maybe it is hard.
I changed my mind. It is kind of difficult.
Yeah, my physical...
Can I just hang on to Gaius while he climbs down?
Absolutely, but I would increase the difficulty of his roll. So if he's willing...
I'm okay with that.
Is he okay with that? But the way he's rolling...
Okay, so I rolled a 6, a 2, and a 2. So I'm going to take the strong hit to reroll one of the 2s.
Absolutely. Reroll one of the 2s.
Because I have a -3.
Are you okay with that?
All right.
I don't know if a 14 still hits with easel on me.
You took him on
you?
I did.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
All right. Gaius, you Luke Skywalker / Yoda easel down. And with a 14, you climb down quickly. You realize as you start climbing down the tunnel, like this descent is not that difficult. You have very broad shoulders. You have a lot of armor on you. This big old sword. Now this telatl that is weighing you down. But you're a freaking legion. Like you're bred for this kind of stuff, and so you're able to climb down without a whole lot of issue. Esther, how did you do on that reroll?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because I've got a -3. So even though I did better, it still only ends up being a 10, I believe, or a 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Take 2 soft damage. So like max endurance. So take 2, just minor. It's just kind of exhausting. Your hands pull here and there. You grab roots. that are kind of sticking out the side of the wall and kind of scrapes against your palm. Nothing, you don't fall or anything like that. It's just kind of exhausting, and it just wears on you a little bit. But eventually, you land, and you're okay. Salma, how about you?
I got a couple of 6s, which with my +1 physical nets me at 17.
17, excellent. Okay, yeah, you are able. I would say, because like if you want, as an unintended consequence for you, Esther, go ahead and give yourself back one of those max endurance. We'll say you only took one,
Hell
so
yeah.
even less. Nice. You're just kind of able to help her coming down.
Yeah, like I just keep everywhere there's a little hole, Esther just keeps stepping right in it, and someone just keeps being the one to be like, no, not there, no, not there.
This is payback for you pulling
Yes.
Salma back from all the burrows leading up.
Absolutely.
Perfect. When you get down and you begin traveling and kind of slowly moving about, you realize that the tunnels themselves they're fairly large. Like, you guys have to crouch a little bit. Like, you're not like, you can't stand up straight and walk. It's more like you're hunched over, but you can still walk. The rest of you probably not as difficult. And I would say, like, especially Easel, you have no issues whatsoever. The tunnels themselves you can tell they're mostly earth, like you can see, but you also see stringing down in places. There's like the roots from the trees above, and they kind of hang down and pop out of the top of the tunnels themselves. And you realize as you pass by a few of them that they're kind of like shimmering, and you realize it's not just vibration, but it's almost like they're like alive and shifting, and once or twice, like you hit like your head, Gaius, might brush across one, and you see it recoil suddenly away from you. It's very dark. So do people have torches? I think people have some lights.
I've got my orb, which is an Aura 12.
Okay, so okay, so we'll say Esther's got her orb out, Salma's got a torch out, and that's probably enough for the four of you, I would say. Also helping you along the way is there's a little bit of bioluminescence from time to time. Like, you can definitely see that there's like little groupings of like mushrooms and other types of fungus that seems to be growing and pulsing with light from time to time. Now, you are down here. Are you looking, what's your intentions here as you're exploring? Are you just looking to are you just searching to see if you can find where the loggers have been captured, if they're still alive, or is there some other intention that you have?
I'm guessing
that is Salma's intention, so pretty straightforward.
Okay, just searching for survivors. Okay. Sorry, Easel, what did you say? I cut you off.
Yeah, searching for survivors.
Yeah, and then maybe if we find the spiders, trying to treat with them, but the survivors is really the most important thing.
I think for me, like with the Rankin monsters, like Gaius is trying to study, like, if there are remnants of webs, like, is it set up where they're set up just to be sticky, or did they have the thing where it looks like there's little strands that are set up to like trigger a warning to others? Just trying to get an understanding of how their network lays out.
Okay. Hang on to that. Right now you're just in like tunnels, but I think that's a really good thing once we get into some more noticeable areas. Like, because right now you're not really seeing a ton of silk filament in this area. It really just seems more like a transition tunnel, like they're going from one place to the next. So I'm going to say you guys travel around for maybe an hour down here, and you're kind of getting covered in dirt. Maybe you switch out a torch or two every now and then. More than once, you have to, even those of you that, with the exception of Easel, have to crouch. And guys, there's once or twice where you actually have to get on all fours and kind of push through. You come to what looks like a junction where you can see all of these routes, these tunnels twisted, some of them vertically going up, some of them kind of going down, some of them more horizontal on the side, going like a good 8 different ways. The air here is very thick with like moisture, and you can feel it starting to sort of pool a little bit on your skin. The smell, you realize, is growing worse the deeper you go, and you're also seeing more and more bits of of that silk the strands begin to show here and there, Gaius. And there's like a glistening quality to it. So you're at this intersection, this junction of all these different tunnels coming this way and that. Every surface seems to glisten, mostly with whatever that moisture is, but also with this like kind of resin-coated strands. There's a few. The light here is modest, as there's like these pulsing fungal growths that are giving off like this intermittent light, and then you also can hear down some of the tunnels like skittering, and then dripping, and then as you're looking around, and Esther, you shine your orb a bit, or Salma, you whip out the second of your torches. You can see that behind a sheen of silk, there are patches on the wall that are no longer earth, but instead seem like you're not sure what the material is exactly, whether it's stone, whether it's metal, but it's flattened, it's coated and covered with grime, but you can see like there's markings and things as well. And so you're at this intersection. So Gaius, go ahead and give me that monster roll now.
Okay.
And then what are the rest of you kind of doing at this point as you have this dizzying array of choice in front of you? What do you think Esther would be doing? How about we do this? So Melissa, what do you think Esther's up to?
I would say like Esther's got good awareness, so I would say she's wanting to look at the markings and see if maybe if there were any prisoners that kind of left marks as they were kind of being pulled somewhere or something like that.
Okay, I like that. So go ahead and we could do like maybe a culture roll. Yeah, I think we could maybe do a culture roll for that. Because you're trying to like figure out if there's something with these engravings. What is Salma up to, do you think? Am I try?
I wonder if I might support Gaius with monsters, because I have a pretty high monsters.
I think you already rolled it. Unfortunately, normally I would say yes, but you already rolled it. So
no worries.
It's okay, Jeremy. It's all good, dude.
I meant well.
No, it's
so
good.
Last time we're playing with you, okay?
I try rolling something that's my good stat, I fumble. So I decide I'll take something that's a hedge bet and roll great.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think I have anything particularly I would like to do apart from inspect markings and see what Jeremy can find about these webs. So I don't think there's anything particular for Salma right now.
Okay. How about Easel then?
Easel has a pretty high wealth score, so she would like
heard.
Brag.
Right now, going to help with anything. How are you going to write a check right now?
Throw money at the webs and test it.
Go ahead.
I'm thinking there might be a possible trade deal with these spiders, so I would like to take some samples of the silk to see if we can make some nice, lucrative money together. You know, we'll offer them meat, and then they'll offer us silk.
Okay.
So I want to get some samples.
Okay. Absolutely. If he played Fragged Empire with us, he should have played Corp. You know?
Oh, totally.
Like, he would be perfect for Corp.
Right?
Yes.
Perfect Corp.
Oh my goodness.
We should stop worrying about lumber and start harvesting silk. Just pivot.
We might have something here, you know?
Yeah, pivot. Go for it.
So you just want to take some silk. Some of these strands.
I would also like to hide in the darkness if I can do that at the same time.
Okay. That's fine. You could take silk. That's no roll necessary. That's fine. Okay. Let me go back to the two people who rolled dice. So Gaius, you were trying to inquire about the silk itself and whether it was some kind of communication system, right? Some kind of warning system. As you watch, perhaps with horror, at Easel pulling out one of his throwing knives and just cutting some of this silk before you've had a chance to fully investigate, you can take a deep breath, when you realize that the skittering from the different directions down the tunnels that you hear doesn't seem to change from him cutting through it, which makes you think that it's probably not a warning system. But listening to the skittering, you start to realize that there are like repeated sequences, and it doesn't just seem like random movement. So you do think there's communication going on in the area between them, and like you'll hear like one pattern down one tunnel, different pattern down another tunnel. Whether or not they're communicating with each other or in their different locations, you're not sure. But you think that the skittering themselves, like the echoing in the tunnels, that's how they're communicating with each other, not the silk itself.
I'll share that with the group.
All right. Then Esther, how did you do?
Got a 13 on my awareness.
Okay. So when... Oh, you were rolling awareness? I thought you were rolling culture.
No, sorry. No, you're right. It was culture. No, you're right. It was just a +1. Okay. So that was culture. Yeah.
Okay. As you're like studying some of these engravings, there's glyphs. They're large and looping in some ways. Like they are not recognizable as a language that you've seen in your time amongst the Kingdom of Ire, various cultures, etc. And obviously you would need to spend a significant more time with this. But you start to notice a little bit that it kind of looks like the symbols themselves have been like very lightly carved into some kind of metal that's underneath this earth, right? And so you can see it's cleared away. And it's written in like these like kind of groupings of 8 from time to time. And it maybe gets you to think that maybe this is like a written communication kind of thing. You're not sure if it's like exactly how to translate it. It could be like warnings that only these spiders could understand. It could be maybe orientation assistance, like knowing which way to go or which way this is. And when you go to these different ones, they're all kind of adjusted right next to these different tunnel openings. And they all are written or drawn in different ways, these glyphs. It's hard to discern exactly what it is, but it does seem like there's logic to it. It doesn't seem like it's just like singular scrapes. So you would guess it's likely labeling the different routes.
And Esther's kind of excited by this. I think this is their language. I think this is how the spiders talk to each other. I wonder if we were able to read these, if it might almost like way signs for what is down each of the tunnels, perhaps. But they definitely communicate this way, Gaius, in addition to communicating what you were noticing as well.
I'd like to make my way up to what Esther is pointing out.
Sure.
And see if I might recognize anything that's showing up there.
I mean, there's no more information I think you would be able to glean from this. Like, you don't speak the language. This is certainly, you know what I mean? Like you are Drasim. You are not Nefspawn. Yeah. So like you're different. So it's not like you would recognize it. So you have like a different language. So just looking at it.
That's all I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's isn't it fascinating? It's a whole new language.
And what does it say?
We don't know yet, because this is the first. We are the first, perhaps, maybe, to have come across this. So if you were successful at treating with them, perhaps we will learn this language. But I don't know it. Selma doesn't know it.
So right now you're saying it's useless.
It is an untapped resource. You were talking about pivoting, and this is something that, if you want to take some notes, perhaps you could take it back to some other scholars who could study it for longer, and it could be very useful.
Will these scholars pay money for the notes?
It's something that they don't.
That's always valuable.
Can you make them feel that it's important?
I don't think it's as valuable as hard goods. Guys, will you help me collect some of the silk?
Now that I know it won't alert them, yes.
as you start pulling them down, you realize the silk reeks. So he's like pulling this down and like, oh God. And he's like punching it down into his pack or her down. I'm sorry. Easel's a her.
Well, now that I know it reeks, I would have Gaius carry it.
Okay. The worst. If Jeremy was anybody else, he would slap you, but he's Jeremy. So he's totally fine with it. Okay.
He's a treasure.
All right. So as you listen, like you can definitely tell that there's activity down here in these tunnels. It's just a question of like, how do you want to go about navigating it? Like, do you go towards the sound? Do you go away from the sound? Like, what do you think you would do as you progress?
We heard the sound of dripping, which to me would be underneath the rivers and the waterfalls that we've seen, which possibly would be closer to where hostages might have been taken.
That logic is as good as any. We are blind down here. So that works for me. I will go in that direction if that is the direction you would like me to go.
Okay.
Very well. Guys, please continue to gather more silk as we travel.
You push down the tunnel. You say they're all out everywhere. Everywhere. You push down the tunnel with the dripping, and you hear it kind of echoing, and you realize, like you suspected, it's coming down from the ceiling here and there, and it looks like it's just water as far as you can tell. Eventually, you find that like the contours of the tunnels are becoming more and more refined and smooth. They're sloped, but like they're not as jagged as they used to be. Whereas like the initial tunnels, when you were further out, seemed to be very covered, kind of compacted earth, and then you started to see these revelations of like metal underneath it. You're seeing more and more of structure, suggesting that whatever is underneath the earth here, it isn't just some randomly burrowed tunnel by these spiders. It's actually some sort of something down here, some sort of structure down here that they seem to have built around or through or in it. You come to like this, which you can only sort of describe as sort of like an octagonal chamber in some ways. And you can see all along the walls, like the silk itself, when you try to start peeling some of it, Gaius, you realize it's hardened. It's almost like chitinous now at this point, and it's still glistening. You can see the light is bouncing off of it. And you also notice as you come in here that hanging and sort of attached to them, there are these cocoons, these web cocoons, these long oblong shapes that are connected to it. You can see that there are, in this octagonal chamber, each of the sides of this, which are relatively flat, goes off in a different direction, but half of them seem to just go into these little side chambers rather than long tunnels themselves. You also have noticed that the temperature feels much cooler. You're pretty sure you've descended pretty deep. Every now and then you hear a tss, and you realize like there's like these little vents built into the bottom of the walls themselves and a little bit down onto the floors, and you see this like barely visible gas come up and then kind of shimmer in front of the chitin and some of this faint fungal light here and there, and then starts to dissipate. And you still hear the sounds of like the clicking from coming from this way and that. So same question. What are you all doing?
It appears that we have found their root cellar, likely food storage, and I like tap on one of the chitinous shells cocooned. Perhaps we should crack a few of these open and see if there are missing laborers?
Yes, I agree. Whoever has sharp implements, I will hold my light up for you.
Okay. You start. Who's doing? Is someone doing that?
Can I call out first to see if there's any responses?
You want to call out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
you call out.
Not super loud, but just loud enough that like, if there's anything in here, they could hear.
Hello.
Okay. You go, hello. And then you hear going in every tunnel direction afterwards an echo. kind of cascade down the tunnel. How far that echo cascades, you don't know, but it certainly does. Anything above a whisper seems to cascade out of here because the walls are becoming increasingly metal.
Apologetically at everybody.
Fool of a took. I think everything's fine. And then you hear it. And then here comes the cave troll. Look at that.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
You understand my inspirations now.
But do we hear anything from any of these cocoons?
You do, as you call out, you don't, you kind of hear, and you see one of them begin to move. The rest of them do not.
All right. So I feel like my greatsword is probably not the best precision tool.
I
got a couple of folks that have
that I'm
daggers.
happy to use.
Maybe I could use my brawn to just lift somebody up so they could do some precision work.
Yeah.
I can help with my dagger for sure.
So you get up, you're carving away on the one that's at the one that's clearly moving around, and then falling down on top of you is this ursine remnant. It's maybe about 5 feet tall. It's very short and stocky for a remnant, but you can see like they are furry, but their fur itself is kind of coated with this slime, whatever that glistening like sweat is on some of the silk that you've seen, and collapses down on top of you. They've got clothes on. They certainly, in one of them, you can even see like there's a patch of the house that you've been hired by, whose name is Kudya. Yeah, you can see this like little checkered shield that sort of signifies them, and they fall down on top of you.
Are you one of the laborers from the camp?
Try to keep your voice down. Everything echoes down here.
Oh God. Thank you. Thank you so. Thank you. Oh goodness. Oh, what was that?
Happen to be
You hear the
Ondai?
sounds of clittering. What's that?
Would you happen to be Ondai?
No, I am Kobunk.
Kobunk.
And seen the foreman for. Seen him. I don't know how long I've been here. Please, you must help me, please.
Well, that's why we're here. We're here. We just have to crack open a few more of these cocoons and see if anyone else, maybe they're just napping.
I know they took more of my friends. They hug a few of us here. Others they took down. They come and they poke at us. One
Excellent.
moment,
There's
And
more
he
survivors.
vomits. Right as you say that, the sounds of skittering become even louder. And then suddenly you see a handful of feet down the tunnel you came from. And the tunnel, one of these other tunnels, you see emerging these very large, colorful spiders. You can see that they look very, very much like you would expect to see one. Kind of greenish, a little bit of purple and red. And as they spot what you're doing, they immediately lunge at you. And you see one of them literally jumps across the chamber right to where Easel is standing next to this kind of vomiting Ursine. And we're not going to do tactical combat. So another thing you can do in this game is you can do minor combat. The minor combat, it's not so much, we don't put this stuff on the map necessarily. Instead, it's more like a quick encounter where you each have to pass like a number of rolls, basically. Kind of describe what you're doing in this situation as you're ambushed by a couple of these patrols, these spider patrols. And like, kind of tell me what you're doing. And if you succeed, great. If you fail, you're probably going to take a little bit of damage. And then like we kind of move on from it. So that's kind of the basics of minor combat. So one of these leaps entirely across the chamber and lands right on top of Itzel. The second one someone's barreling in behind it and begins to spider climb up the side of the wall and then on the ceiling until it's halfway across, getting ready to drop on top of you. Behind you, you hear the sounds of more coming, and two of these other ones sort of pile in and sweep off to the sides, flanking you.
Gaius, start with you. You just see it's Easel just getting completely covered by one of these, and these large, almost sword-like legs are stabbing down as Easel moves one way and then the other and then the other, and each time one of the legs comes down, you hear this spark, this tink as it hits the ground. What do you do, guys?
Gaius would love to resort to just stabbing, but seeing the fact that there's reinforcements coming and they're already on top of Easel, he'll just get in front of it, like, not combatively, but put his hand on it, like, you have no idea the mistake that you're making. You tried to play with some supervisor, some mere manager this site to make a deal. You don't understand the nature of the true leadership here. This is Lady Easel. This is the one that your leader should have been speaking to from the beginning. You have made a crucial error. And if you slay this one right now, you will pay dearly for your mistake.
Okay. What skill do you think you want to roll here?
Just trying to go with some like leadership, a little bit of intimidation, like you done fucked up.
I mean, definitely intimidation, but I mean, I don't know if they recognize you as a leader. You're just some big
leadership
legion,
is normally
right?
what you use to roll intimidation. I don't know. There's not an intimidation skill.
Yeah, I was just checking. Yeah, go for it. Leadership. +2. That was a pretty good description.
Nice.
Because I know that they tried to bargain earlier, so I just want to spin it. Oh, that +2. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Let's see if I fumble again.
Down there saying, "Yeah, what he said."
15. Anything?
It's continuing to spike and stab and spike and stab, and Easel's constantly missing. It pauses, and you can see its head kind of turn. It's got these tons of eyes, obviously, right? And it pauses for a second, and like you think for a moment it's considering you, and then begins to start stabbing once more. So you bought Easel some time. So Easel, what do you do with that time?
Would I be able to stealth my way out from under it? Like if it looks away for that second, I try to...
You would need to get cover to stealth. So
Okay,
I think
so
you need to do a physical test probably to scramble away.
Could we say it's finesse to like finesse my way out?
Finesse is
that's one of the
combat. Yeah, and you don't need so
combat.
That's a fair point. Yeah. Okay. Talk me into it.
My finesse is only +1, but it's better than my physical, which is -1.
What? And I will say take a +1 because Gaius like is effectively assisting you in this case.
Awesome. Thank you, Gaius. Your loyalty will be rewarded.
I am aware.
The die roll sucked though. 10.
Okay. You try to scramble away, and then you suddenly feel a piercing in your leg as one of these legs shears down, or one of the spider legs shears down into the muscle. You're going to take you rolled a 10. Okay. Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead and roll that random attribute, if you would, please, Easel. Arlo. Okay. Hang on, let me pull this up. Sorry, I'm just double checking something really fast. I always forget the exact numbers of sharp. Okay, you take 1 point of strength damage as like it stabs you a few times in the legs, and you just feel your legs kind of buckle. You're able to eventually scramble away, but it gets a couple of hits on you before you're able to get away from it.
Well, good thing that leg was sticking out of the dress, so I don't have to get a new one.
Okay. Salma, you see this happening. You see Easel being attacked. Gaius is like distracting it, but there's all these others. One of them is leaping, is barreling down on Esther. Another one is barreling down on this Ursine remnant that is like vomiting. He's like, no, not again, not again. What does Salma do?
And I'd like to pull out my crossbow and look like I'm ready to take a shot. And if this thing gets closer, I will.
And then are you firing at it, or are you just going to brandish it like in a threatening manner?
I'm firing at it.
All right, roll your attack.
My attack is 17.
Okay, 17. You see the bolt fly out of it, and it clips through, first of all, one of its front legs as it steps, and you see the leg just buckle and fall, and then it continues to fly, and it sinks right into like the carapace, like part of the carapace of this spider, and you see it just collapse to the floor and slide across until it's stopped right at the feet of you and of the Ursine that you've just rescued. Esther, what are you doing in this situation?
So Esther was looking to see if these spiders on them, if they have anything like metallic. So they have kind of their bodies. Is there anything that's sort of metallic that they have? Any kind of like armor or anything like that?
I would say part. I mean, we could argue that parts of like their chitin, their carapace, in some cases, might have like something akin to metal. Like we could say something like it's probably that kind of material. So yeah.
So what I would like to do, I would say that Esther would kind of want to do like a metallurgy and see what she can do to try to like heat up this metal and kind of
so cool idea.
Do that kind of frame with like an arcane skill.
Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
Heat
So what do
metal
you?
is always a good spell.
Yeah. So you've got that techno magic, right?
Right. So I'm techno magic, and so then basically I can use the metallurgy for like her arcane skill roll.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what she would like to do, make some stuff hot. 11. So
do a grit reroll.
Rolled.
Those would have refreshed since it's a new session.
Yes. Okay. So my grit will go from a 3 to a 2, and I will try that again. +3. Roll better, roll better, roll better. 16. There we go.
That's much better. Yeah, that's way better. Okay. So does your spell like do you have like you normally have like cleave and stuff, right?
Yes, for my divine orb, I do have cleave, yeah.
So you send this thing out, you see these the fire itself begins to, like the orb itself begins to glow and pulse with heat, and you can see like the reddening and the oranging that happens sometimes like in a forge start to happen at certain parts of their shells, and you see two of them begin to just kind of shake like violently all of a sudden, and then like their legs begin to fold in on them and they collapse. You see their legs kicking up and twitching. The only one that's actually still sort of moving and attacking is chasing after Isel and is kind of continuing to sort of stab at him and like leap and try to get him. Who would like to try to thwart this before Isel loses a limb, a face, a handful of coins?
I'd like to take destiny into my own hands, if that's all right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to. I realize I probably should have done cunning instead of finesse last turn, but it's the same score anyway, so it would have worked out the same way.
All right, we're gonna go back to the beginning. We're gonna start over.
All the way over.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So I would like to. I would like to finesse. I'm gonna pull out one of my knives and just start slashing at the legs of the one next to me so that I can slow it down to try and put distance between us.
Okay, I like it.
Try to cripple it, essentially.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just kind of wildly swinging here and there. And like when it like stabs at you, it kind of lunges and then stabs, and maybe you like try to time it and slash it underneath as it does so.
Samwise Gamgee it.
I don't know that reference.
13 total.
That's good enough. Yeah, you slash through and you can see like one of your slashes cuts like this underside, this unprotected side underneath the spider itself. And you see as you cut in, like these guts and goo falls down, and it kind of gets and limps and tries to like move away at this point. You throw one of the knives and it catches it right in the back and it collapses down. And you see around you, there's like 4 essentially destroyed spiders at this point. Some of them in pieces, some of them like burnt and kind of sticking up and crispy. And the remnant you have saved is still alive. Okay. And so he's like reaching up, kind of grabbing Salma and like grabbing guys. We need to go. Please, we need to go before they return. Before more return. Please, 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 please. And he's like pointing at the other cocoons and he's like, that one, and then that one, they drained that one, and then that one. As he's like terrifying, as he's looking at these other cocoons themselves. What do you all do?
So I would say that
cracking open some cocoons to make sure that they're dead.
Yeah, Esther can kind of help,
as you
kind of burn them off the top, and then when they come down, you can kind of cut them open.
Okay, so you start cutting them down, burning some, cutting some. Bodies start to fall. Some you can tell have been essentially like drained, and you can see like their withered skin is like attached to their arms, or their arms themselves. You can see the bones and the bulbous, as if they've just been drained of something. Others, when they fall out, you can see some of their belongings, like a pack, falls out, and stuff scatters across the floor itself. And then one or two, when you see they fall, like they're not so much drained, but you can tell they suffered some kind of damage, like a stab wound, which you probably think is the leg of one of these spiders here or there. But this remnant you saved, Kobunk, he called himself, seems to be the only one in this room that is living.
Well, that is unfortunate. This will be... It's been a great expense. Kobunk, which direction did you say that they took the others?
He looks around, kind of gets his bearings. Yeah, down there.
All right, and away we go, because we should not stay here much longer.
Okay. Is anyone else doing anything before we leave this room and follow Isel down?
I think Esther would have asked Salma, you're sure that there's nothing that could be done to heal them? Are you sure we've lost them?
I don't think I can bring them back. I think they've been gone a little long.
Oh, maybe we shouldn't have rested last night. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see who else we can find then.
But you're right. Whoever we can keep alive, that's important.
I'm sure we'll need those healing skills somewhere, but these were too far gone, unfortunately.
About you guys?
Gaius will at least take a moment to look over the bodies that have dropped. If they apparently have some sort of insignia on them, he'll look to see if any of them have if some insignia that stands out, something other than the other. Like he's just looking over the bodies that have dropped to see if there's anything of interest.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so as you kind of take a quick look, like Salma, Esther are kind of checking for pulses and seeing if they're alive. You're going through some of the things that have fallen. You see a few of them have the insignia of Kudya, that the house that hired you. But you also notice that there are a few that fall, especially like these two Tolotl that fall, both of them jammed into the same cocoon. You can tell these look older than some of the others. Like they look like they've been here longer. And when they fall, you see their clothing is different than you might see from Isel or from Tenok, the Tolotl that you met back by the lumber camp. And you realize that they have like this sash that comes down with this sigil on it that looks like something that you don't recognize it as an insignia from the Kingdom of Ire. Like it almost looks like something from Katla, which is like a neighboring kingdom that you have like a very tense sort of ceasefire peace kind of with right now. And you know that they are the leadership of that particular kingdom is Tolotl has a very strong presence. Amongst their belongings, you do pick up what looks like a kind of a vial. It's maybe the size of your palm, and it's fluted and thick glass, and you can see the rim of the stopper itself is this like etched gold. And as you hold it up, the light kind of shines in it in some ways, and you realize it's definitely not water that's in there.
You have many enemies within the Katla Empire, Isel, my lady.
No, my husband died long ago.
Of course. A terrible tragedy, I understand. Do
Completely
you
unexpected.
understand? Of course, naturally. Do you recognize these sashes of these other Gelato, or this strange concoction they carry? It is concerning to me. The timing...
Would I recognize them? I have a -2 culture and a -1 apothecary.
I would say with a -2 culture, what he said sounds right to you. You could probably roll apothecary. I think Salma's probably got the apothecary. She'd probably be able to identify it, but you could roll it if you wanted.
No, Isel likes to delegate. Yes, I believe that Salma is the one who's known to understand the potent mixtures.
Selma is checking for pulses with Esther and not paying attention to you.
And Esther will kind of elbow. I think she has a new task for you. I think I heard her.
I'm busy.
I don't know anything about apothecary.
No, I'm saying that to Easel. I turned around and said it over my shoulder to Easel. I'm busy. What do you want?
Indeed. You are busy playing
They're
with
dead, Easel. I'm terribly sorry. You are a noble and wonderful person, but they are dead. However, this is evidence that might help explain what is going on.
And seeing what Gaius told him, I'm going to go and inspect it.
Yeah, I think you would just be able to recognize it. It looks just like a healing vial, like a healing draught, effectively. So it's essentially what it does is it gives a bonus to a failed healing roll, or
sweet,
or it would add to your prep action. An or one, it would basically heal a character 1d6 endurance, like during combat. And there's 2 uses to this, so it just looks like one of them was carrying a healing vial.
Sorry, well, it just looks like a medicine, like a tool for medics and physicians.
I see. I have assumed poorly, and I apologize. I apologize for taking you from your duties. But I wonder if there is some form of sabotage at play during the different stages of decay of these bodies. And it is
that
strange.
Is always a possibility. However, I do suggest that we discuss this as we're walking, as there is the possibility of survivors further down the tunnel.
That's fair.
Okay, so do you push? I think Kobunk will definitely follow you. He's unlike Tanuk.
Doesn't want to be alone.
He does not want to be alone down here, especially since the people he's probably heard the deaths of like 2 or 3 different people through the cocoon over the last like 48 hours. So I don't think he would want to.
That was probably awful.
I don't think we really know like the way out.
Through.
Like, we can't point to a thing and be like, go that
The way out is through, of course.
Like 2 lefts or right, and you see an Arby's, you're there. Okay, so you follow the path that Kobunk directs you down. Is that right, Isel? Did I hear that right? Okay. More and more as you begin to travel down, again, sloping down, it's less and less. You're seeing less and less and less of like earth, like less and less, rock, less and less dirt. Tons of webs have spun. You can see strands, silk, etc. But more and more, you get the feeling that you are within a structure, and it's become more evident than ever. You can see it, but it's mostly metal. You can tell. Like you recognize metals. Esther, you are quite familiar with your knowledge in metallurgy. The walls are metal. The ground is metal. There's grates. There's vents. You hear gas seeping in. As you start moving further and further down, you start to feel a hum as well, like a as you reach out and you touch some of the walls from time to time. Eventually, you find this large opening that seems to have like these two panels that have been webbed aside, like they were doors, but think of them like socket doors, as they're opened in the walls themselves. And then all of this web, this silk has wrapped around them, pinning them in their sockets. And when you look inside, you see it's well lit. You see all these different dancing like motes in the sky, and like in the sky here and there. But you see a like massive chamber, enormous. There are webs effectively everywhere. You can see that there are these large pillars or columns that seem to run up and down here and there. And you realize for a second, they run all the way up, but then they look to be running down, and you realize the pathway forward is like translucent. And it's translucent because like it's webbing. Like it's like this hard chitinous web that has created this pathway that's moving inward. And the metal has stopped. So if it wasn't for the web, it would just be this big, like open cylindrical chamber that goes high and low. You can't even really see the bottom. You realize as you're looking up that you actually can see hanging down these more of those cocoons, like just from these long strands here and there. More of that hum is happening. And you can hear the sounds of skittering from inside. Right now, you're outside of it. You're kind of just peeking in. But it seems absolutely enormous. And it seems as though you are in some massive ruin buried beneath the mountain.
Can we see if there's more than one of these chitinous pathways crisscrossing through here? Or is this like probably not from our entrance, but can we see like other tunnels that might lead to more of these bridges?
Yes. Give an awareness test as you're peeking from a distance in.
I'm good at these.
Are you the best at them?
I did roll well, 16.
It's pretty good. You can see as you look inside, like there's like a bridge between where you're standing that runs straight over this abyss. Okay. Because you can't see like a ground beneath you. But as you look in, you can see that there are other bridges coming from different directions, like different tunnels that are likely all converging towards the center of this kind of multi-tiered platform on the far side of this large chamber. And you can see like the light is coming from these swirling motes, and there's these panels that are pulsing on the far side and giving out this like pink and purple glow. And you can see that there is a very, very large spider that is sitting atop of of that platform at the far end. And you can see that it is it's easy to see once you peek in. You can see the flickering lights kind of casting its shadow. At first, it might almost look like a statue, but then you see it suddenly move. It's got to be at least 5 times the size of the ones that you've fought before. And many of those bridges you can see like reach some of those tall pillars that run up and down, like up to the ceiling and down into the darkness. You're not sure where the floor would be. You can see some of the webs like kind of connect to them and then redirect and connect and redirect, and kind of creates this kind of crisscrossing highway of web bridges.
Well, it appears that we've reached the heart of this structure. And you can see Easel is like visibly nervous, very rarely for her. And if it is negotiation is possible, I assume that we will learn this very quickly. Gaius, I would request that you have your sword ready, and if we need to break a few bridges behind us to perhaps stop pursuit, you could handle this, yes?
I shall do so as necessary. However, I believe in the power of your persuasion. We shall move forward with diplomacy, as is your skill.
Yes, and I'm sure that they will not request meat immediately as a sign of good faith. Huh.
We sure hope not.
Take heart, my lady. You are the best at this.
And we put on a face of confidence and stroll on in.
Okay.
This can't go wrong.
I'll bring you guys over. Not suggesting there's combat yet. I'm just going to bring you a little map I have just in case there's combat.
Wherever.
Just in case.
Wherever.
Yeah, just in case.
Diplomacy maps. Just so that we can see.
Diplomacy map.
I put work into it, so I just wanted to show you it.
This is a diplomacy
It's a great
map.
It's a great map.
I think that we could
Let me put Easel up front.
diplomacy
Easel's
this.
clearly
Wait,
up front.
no, I was pushing forward from the back.
No. Sorry. You pushed forward.
And we all step to the side, and suddenly Easel finds herself right
goodness.
up front.
Oh my god.
Suddenly I'm 30 yards ahead of everyone.
Gaius and
God.
Selma and Esther have just locked arms behind you.
Diplomacy map is just stuck in my head now.
Oh, God.
I'm the only
goodness.
one to cross this bridge.
There we go. I wanted to show it on stream. Okay.
Very cool.
So yeah. So this is a JPEG map. So I just thought it was really cool. Anyhow, I'm not saying we got to fight. Like, you don't have to. Like, that's definitely not a requirement.
I'm going to
just
try
saying.
not to.
True. We could just submit.
You could just lend them your flesh and juices. Okay.
Steven is famously great for not making people pissed off at him. So this is
True.
only going to go.
Hey, Kobunk, I just met him.
So Isel on her own, by herself, nobody else with her, bravely walks through this door and across this bridge of silk and web. And you look up and you can see them dangling. You're just walking out there boldly, right? You're not trying to like sneak or anything. You're like, there you are.
No, I would put on a fake face of confidence walking out there.
So you walk out and you immediately see movement as all these spiders, like the ones that you just fought, you can see they begin to move and kind of take up these positions, positions of kind of like they're guarding the path forward. And the rest of you come with Isel, or you just let her kind of go and go do something else?
It's a bit I assume we've worked together before. Does Isel tend to prefer to have Gaius like a couple steps behind
Absolutely. Within arm's reach at all times.
You're such a coward. All right. Okay, well, yeah, he's right behind you. You're fine.
Gaius will follow behind, but because this is diplomatic, he'll stay that arm's length behind her and then maybe take a knee, so to speak.
Okay. So you come in, you get most of the way across this web bridge. When you look down again, you can see like crisscrossing bridges, but it's mostly darkness. You can actually see a proper bottom. The pillars, as you walk past them to your right and to the left, you realize it's similar to what you've seen before. This kind of greenish steel, just kind of tracing up and down here and there, and you can hear and feel like bzzz, kind of coursing through them in some fashion. Like they're not there to support anything, but rather more like conduits or pipes of some kind. You can see above you, there's these much smaller spiders that are crawling over top of all of the cocoons that are hanging down, some of which are moving. And there are these like pulsing bits of, like, you're not sure if it's just kind of floating motes of spores that might be giving the room light, but whatever it is, a few times they slide behind one of the cocoons and allows you to see inside, and you see this like curled up person that's like trying to shift and move and stuff. You start kind of counting, and there's got to be a couple dozen hanging from up top. And when you get to the base of what looks like stairs, and again, everything at this point that you're coming up to is made effectively out of spider silk. It's weaved, tightly weaved, carapace maybe being repurposed in some cases, but it's all like naturally constructed by them. And right as you get to that step, you hear,
"That's far enough,"
echoing through the chamber.
And I do a very deep bow. "My dearest lord or lady, I come to you with a litany of apologies. We have erred against you in so many ways, and I wish to balance the scales. I apologize for intruding upon your home. We did not understand that we were lost on our way in here. We were simply following a trail of some workers of our own men, who I also must apologize for. These men would have so easily dismissed your very kind offer of peace and trade between our two peoples. They did not have the authority to deny that offer. However, I do have the authority to offer an offer, and I would like to reopen negotiations if I can."
"You wish to negotiate?"
"Oh, yes, absolutely, with my entire heart. As you may not know, but I am a representative of the Viscount of House Kudya, and we have great stores of livestock and cattle in just a few dozen miles away that we could offer in trade as regular tribute to yourself, if that would be something that you would be interested in."
"Meat. He wants meat."
Yes, that is what we are offering you. Live meat. All the finest cattle. Have you ever had steak? It is delicious. We also have lamb, if that's what you prefer.
"What is it you want from us? You cannot tear down the trees."
Why can we not tear down the trees?
"Because they are not yours to tear down."
Are they yours?
"They are the mountains."
What if we received permission from the mountain to tear them down?
"The mountain will not speak with you."
But it does speak with you?
"In its way."
Well, perhaps I give a little tap on the bridge. I can see that you have other sorts of materials and resources that they seem as if they could be quite useful in many different applications. I do believe that there is still a way for us to negotiate and coexist in peace.
"You give us cattle, meats, and you leave the mountain."
Yes, so we would give you Oh, I apologize.
"Do you want from us?"
Well, we could also use regular shipments of silk. We've been looking at some of this, and I do believe that it would make some very fine cloth for clothing and all sorts of banners. And if you could teach us how hardens like this would be quite useful. Oh, and if we could have the laborers back who intruded upon your mountain, that would be appreciated as well.
You hear like chittering from all of like the little soldiers and such in front of her. And then she says,
"We will take the meats. We will give you silk, and you will leave the mountain. That is my offer."
I do appreciate that offer, and I do believe we can accept that offer. And if I might sweeten that offer, for each pound of worker meat, people meat that you return to us, we will give you 3 pounds of cattle meat, 3 times as much.
she like her head tilts up.
"But these are ours to punish."
And I cannot offer enough apologies for their insolence that they continued to take trees when you told them not to. They had no right to do that. Perhaps there is another way we could help you out as well. I hear you have a bit of a troll problem.
You see they all start.
Yes. Small-minded trolls. Yes.
And that is why I
don't-
offer treaties with you and not them. Perhaps we could convince them to leave you alone and leave the mountain alone as well, in exchange for our worker meat.
One of them stole something of ours. Fetch it. And we will give you half of your work.
How about we fetch it and we convince the trolls to never come back ever again, and you give us all?
Why would we not want them to return? They are our neighbors below. We trades with them.
Oh,
This
trade with
one stole from us.
Oh, that is a very grievous offense, and I cannot believe that they would have the audacity to do that. How about this? We will retrieve what they have stolen from you. We will bring it back to you as a gift, a sign of our friendship, and we will still offer you 3 pounds of cattle meat for each pound of worker meat if you return all of the workers.
All right, you can now make a persuasion test to attempt to persuade her with this deal. And the rest of you are welcome before Stephen rolls. If you wanted to try to assist in some way, to chime up and say something and maybe assist as well, you could possibly do that if you wanted.
Esther's -2 and -3 to her social stuff, so I don't think she would. I think she might just lean to
Pitch a different
Isel.
skill if there's something.
She might just lean to Isel and ask, like, what did they steal? Just so that we know what we're signing up to get back.
I don't know. You can ask them.
You should ask. You're better at talking than I am.
It's just talking. What did they steal?
Something we value.
They stole
It does
something they
not-
value. Are you happy now?
Concern you, for it is ours, unless you mean to steal it from us as well.
No. I only wish to know what it looks like so that I can make sure that I find it. Esther, why are you getting us in trouble?
It's a valid question. How do you know what to return to someone if they don't tell you what it is? I don't know how you know that.
We just wish to know how to identify it to return it to you.
Please forgive this simpleton's request to understand the orders presented to him. I am a meager laborer who will be delivered out to obtain this item. However, I am far too stupid to understand what it is without further description.
Okay. Guys, do you want to roll an assist here?
Yeah.
What do you want to roll?
I don't know what it'd be. I just know he's willing to present himself in that way. I would almost do it with like sophistication. Like initially I was going to do leadership, but just tell me what to do. But I could also do with more sophistication is that he's willing to like sublimate himself.
I'll take sophistication. You could take a +2 too, because you were very you sort of genuflected, like you are.
Yeah.
Like he's, Isil's too stupid.
Genuflected.
You haven't rolled yet.
A tone to yours.
Yeah. He's trying to present himself. I am just a humble servant.
And how'd you do? Okay, that'll be a success.
I'm too stupid to understand these things without further clarification.
+1 from Gaius. Esther, were you trying to do something?
Her not in the talking. I would say like she's keeping her awareness up. She's looking to make sure no one is about to like, stealth attack us or something. So like that's kind of her role, I think, is just making sure nothing bad is going to happen while this talky talk is happening.
Why don't you could do a culture or an insight maybe. Insight is the idea of trying to interpret like mood maybe. Like you could potentially do that. Culture, the idea of trying to understand like from what you've seen, anything like that.
So I went insight because I got a +3 in that. So I rolled an 11.
So yeah, maybe you sense something in the tone. It's only a 10 when you're assisting, so it's a +1. So +1 from Esther, +4 from Gaius. It's 2 so far. Does Salma chime in and add anything to this?
I've been looking at my skills and I don't know if there is anything. Well, I don't know. You let me know if this is reasonable. To offer Isil that, like, if you want to sweeten the pot further, I'm happy to offer my healing skills. And I've got a pretty decent monster. I've got a +3 on monsters and +2 on apothecary. So narratively, I don't know if that like is a reasonable offer to make.
Maybe we could say that you see something in one of the spiders in front of you, like guarding her steps, like some sort of injury maybe that they took, and like maybe you offer like if you're successful,
awesome.
you can like offer to heal it. Yeah, so
that would be awesome if I can do that.
I think it's cool. Yeah, go ahead, monsters or apothecary, either of those two, because it's one of those two things.
I have a +3 on monsters, so if you'll take that, I'm happily. All right, sweet. That's a 13.
Oh, that's good enough. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was gonna spend good to reroll if I needed.
You see, it's like shifting, and like one of its legs kind of keeps buckling, and then maybe some of the resin, some of the silk that like Gaius has been collecting, like you like kind of go up like gently, hands up, and start to try to like help just a little bit. And it's a very tense situation as there's like the other three are like huddling and talking and this and that, and you just like wander up and like patch up a spider while they're doing that.
Let me help.
Isil, that's a +3 from your party.
And then I get 2 for persuasion, and then 1 because I'm wearing a fashionable outfit.
Damn it. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
And specifically not Something doesn't sound the
No, that'd be horrifying.
I didn't roll that good, but it wasn't that bad either. With the +6, it's a 15. I'll spend a grit if I need to.
No, 14. I was going to make the difficulty 14, and you hit it. Okay. And she says,
"If you bring us our artifact and agree to bring the meat, we will release half of your workers upon delivery of the artifact, and the other half on delivery of the meats. This is my final offer."
And I am humbled and awed by your generosity. You are truly a magnificent leader, and I am so thankful for the opportunity to be in your presence. And I do another bow.
okay.
"You are welcome. I honor you with my presence. Do not return until you have retrieved our artifact."
And then she
I promise you I would not.
She taps her legs a bunch. You see on these different panels in front of her. And you can see they're all arrayed. You see her moving around, tap, tap, tap. And all of a sudden in front of you, you see this image begin to form and hover in the air above you. This, for us, would see like a hologram. To you all, it's just magic. You've seen like techno magicians do things like this. And you just see this sort of swirling capsule. It's spherical, and you can see sloshing around inside of it is some kind of thick, viscous fluid.
"This is ours. Return it swiftly, or we might grow hungry."
Of course, as you command. Perhaps you could also show us the fastest way out so that we may retrieve it faster?
And you hear, and you see the one that Salma just healed, and a second one come down from the steps, and they like crawl off the side of the bridge that you're on, and they climb underneath it, and they are leading you back towards like the door, essentially.
Time to go.
Okay.
Esther,
Does everyone leave, or does anyone want to shoot a crossbow or something?
Thank you.
Fireball.
No.
And so, okay, fantastic. So you all back out, and I would like apologies from everyone who questioned my intentions when I put the map up. And you're like,
It did end up being a diplomacy map.
It was.
I assumed that once you saw the grandeur of the room, you all might decide, maybe we don't fight this. Maybe we don't fight this.
We're friendly people.
Shock and awe. That was the strategy.
Yeah.
It worked.
Okay.
It worked.
So
It was good.
with the spiders assisting you, you're able to very quickly navigate these in a way that you didn't before, where you were like making left turns, right turns, and you just didn't know where the hell you were going. You're just kind of like wandering. And within about an hour, you find yourselves, you've descended even further now, by the way, because the idea is here is that like the trolls are underneath them, like they kind of share the mountain with them in some ways, right? And like all this area here, and then further to the north as well, there's like a bigger troll city and everything called Grizg. But you all find yourselves at a certain point, the spiders stop, and they like and like one of them like sort of bows down a little bit, and the other one talks a little bit and says,
This way. In there. Large, fleshy thing. Strong. Careful. Bigger than this one.
It kind of points over towards Gaius with one of their legs.
We will wait here. We cannot invade with you. We must remain neutral.
Of course. If I might ask, would one of you be so kind to take my dearest, most loyal servant Kobunk here to the surface, where he, and I hand him my very fancy teacup, will present my token to the Viscount of House Kuja to begin the delivery of the cattle meat to your lovely queen.
That's reasonable.
So be it.
Of course, Kobunk's not particularly thrilled by this. Oh, what? What?
Make your way to the logging camp. Ten-Ok wanted to help save you, but we gave him a mission to create a distraction at the logging camp. He will be there. You can join him and together go to the Viscount and begin delivery of the meat to save the rest of your friends.
Okay. And you see he's very nervous and scared. And one of the spiders that was talking, skitters off and like looks and waits for him to follow, whereas the other one remains here, like in this kind of guard position at the entrance to this other cave route here.
Do nothing to upset the delicate balance. Off you go.
He takes like 3 steps, turns and looks at you. Takes like another 3 steps, turns and looks at Gaius. Takes
would you prefer
to
be an ambassador, or would you prefer to face a troll?
You see his face. Turns around and starts walking.
Yeah, it's the right choice.
Right. Okay. So you are standing in this entrance to this kind of caved area, right? And you push in. The spider does not follow him, and it's like you can see a very distinct lack of the silk threads, the web threads that you've seen elsewhere. And you also notice like there's a very foul odor. Like it's not like the reeking of the strands. This just smells like rot. Like it just smells like meat rotting, fetid water, etc. And let me bring you over to a little diplomacy map. What we like to call them in the industry.
Troll diplomacy map.
All right.
Troll diplomacy map.
All right. Uh-oh. So, look on Foundry. Don't look in StreamYard, you cheaters. Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry that I wanted to see your lovely face, Jeff.
Don't worry. That's not where I just put them. I put them there and I hide them, but I forget that you guys can actually see the GM map now. I got to change the way I do this. But that's not really where it is. It's going to be just sort of random.
Sure.
But you push in, and you see in front of you like a very dark, dank, fetid, rotting, smelling cave system. Off to your right, you can see there's this little alcove, and there's bones, debris, old knives and swords and equipment, probably from other people who have worked the mountain, etc. You can see there's all sorts of fungus growing here and there, glowing from time to time. I would like everyone to tell me what it is you're doing as you as you begin to explore what you believe is some sort of troll hole, troll den, where somewhere in here there might be an artifact of importance, some spherical container of this sloshing viscous liquid. I'm going to start with Esther. What do you think you're doing?
So Esther was hoping perhaps that... So she's a technomage. Metallurgy is like her thing. So I was trying to see if I might be able to like almost like sense metal. So like this had some metal to the container that it was in. So that's kind of what because there's a lot of like bones and other kinds of things here. So like, I'm not quite sure if that's something that she can do with her like arcane powers, but like,
it's an arcane roll. We can kind of do it. To some degree, you can do what we want with them. I know there's some that are kind of predefined, but then there's others that are like you can kind of be flexible with your intentions with it. Double checking here if anything like this might be defined already, because you're techno, right?
Yeah, I'm techno mage, and it is fire, so like it may not fit quite. And so if it doesn't end up being an arcane skill, it would just sort of be an awareness where she's moving, kind of side to side a bit to see if anything looks glinty or shiny or something like that.
Well, here it says magnets. So maybe you create like a magnetic effect of some kind. You kind of like weave this sense of magnetism out there that causes like little bits of metal to kind of shift and shimmer and move and kind of unearth themselves from piles. It's not like going to just bring it right to you because there's plenty of other metal in here, but at least it'll kind of pull it out from maybe a hiding place or something like that.
Yeah, so I would say I like that. So she'll kind of go into her bag, and she's got a couple kind of scrap pieces of metal, and so she wants to kind of do the roll to kind of fashion this magnet there and kind of see what she can do and see what the roll does, because maybe it'll not be a great magnet. So metallurgy.
I like it. I think it sounds awesome. Yeah.
And that's an 11.
Okay.
I'll spin a grit.
Grit?
I'm down to 1.
Yeah, I would give you like a bonus for description, but I ended up doing description. So
yeah.
I feel like I should get the bonus.
Yeah.
So
we'll try this.
Had you come up with that idea, that would have been a big bonus for you.
Yes, this is true. But at least I get to do it. So I'm still winning. I mean, maybe not. Roll crap again. So we'll see. 13.
13.
Yay.
Okay. You kind of you grab your orb, or like how does it, like when you cast, like is everything channeled through the orb, or do you do other things?
I think I can do other things. So I think when I'm doing anything that's fire or heat related, it kind of comes through the orb. I would say doing this kind of metal, it's more just that she has the metallurgy like ability. So like the orb is something that she created at some point for fire, but this is something kind of entirely different.
So you kind of create this gravitational field, essentially, this magnetic field, I should say, somewhere not too far in front of you, right? Like somewhere like on the other, like somewhere down the hall, and you just begin to send out these waves, magnetism, and you start to hear as like stuff starts to jostle free from various nooks and crannies, and you see dragging across the floor in different directions. When you can see, it's fairly dark in here. You can see like old daggers, and like a battle axe and like a logging axe, all of them just dragging across the floor as stuff just dislodges slowly from different parts of this cavern and begins to slowly move towards a more centralized location.
Everyone mind your feet. Don't step on the rusty axe. Mind your feet.
What about you, Salma? What do you think you're doing? As you sneak into this darkened cavern, you see Esther begin to cast, you hear the sounds of this metal trickling, and it's making noise. It's not like it's quiet by any stretch.
The slow scrape of rusted metal.
That is actually super helpful because she's really bad at stealth, but she wants to make the attempt to kind of scout forward, push forward, and look for like signs of life. Basically, similar to what they just saw with the spiders. Like we saw stuff about the spiders before we saw the spiders.
What is it? So like when you
I was just thinking stealth, but
yeah,
I mean this is
so I would say no, totally. Well, let's flavor it a little bit for us, and maybe you'll get a bonus so that we can kind of nullify some of that negative that you're getting. So what do you think it looks like, or what special thing does Salma do when she starts stealthing or something?
I think she makes use of the light clattering of the weapons across the floor to run from where she is to the next point of where she's identified visible cover, and then she uses the long shadows from the wall to kind of hide her, pushing even forward.
So it's like just kind of timing it with the sound a bit and the
with
shadows.
The sound of the
I love it.
Rusty axes.
Give me a plus. You can take a +2 on that roll, so I think that's going to even you out.
That'll get it out.
Yeah,
nice.
So roll your check there.
All right. That is a 13.
Okay, that is a pass. So we'll say you move in, and you're specifically trying to get a sense of stuff that's living.
Yeah.
Okay. You hear the sounds of breathing coming from somewhere inside, we'll say. You hear the sounds of whimpering too. So there's at least 2 things alive somewhere near you. You're fairly certain. One you think might be sleeping. Another, but like as you move and the clattering happens, like that sleeping gets you can tell like it's being disturbed.
Do I have a sense of where the sound is coming from?
You hear the sounds of like whimpering coming from this sort of centralized cubby in like this little nook in the middle of the room. So I'll ping it on our Foundry table, somewhere in there. And you feel like something was sleeping, but probably just woke up somewhere to the north of you.
Okay. So what I'd like to do, and really hoping Gaius sees this, but I'll raise my hand silently, gesture the number 2 and point 1 inside cubby and 1 to the right.
All right, Gaius, you get this like message. It's very dark in here, but I've already mentioned that there's like fungi, some phosphorescence. And so like, I'm assuming none of you have your torches or lanterns out, but if you, I assume that's like probably intelligent plays. You probably don't, but like you get these little spots of light and you can see like Salma is like making these signals that, again, you guys work together. So you kind of have a, you know, a shorthand basically. What does Gaius do with that?
So Gaius isn't necessarily like a stealthy guy himself, but I might go back to the whole but we don't want to show our hand too clearly. Yeah, we're still trying to move forward, but maybe kind of going with more the forestry angle. Like we know we have like a weird swampy atmosphere. We've got fungus around, and like your footing may not be as sure as you want. And he's got this giant sword that he can take it out, and you can kind of the same way like if you're walking through a swamp, you kind of if you would have a stick or something to poke at the water ahead of you to make sure you're stepping onto something that's actually solid or have an idea of the depth near you, and it's kind of slowly, methodically moving forward towards where she's pointing, but making sure that he's a big old SOB wearing armor. He doesn't want to step into something that's just going to collapse under him.
Okay. I like to think that when you take the sword out, like you feel the magnetic pull. Like it's like, whoa, get back here.
Oh, that's right.
It kind of slowly starts to move over. Like Salba, your chainmail is in your plate mail, Gaius is just like it's just pulling a little bit on you. Just like, okay, that kind of thing.
Whoopsies.
I like this idea. I don't think that forestry though makes sense, as you're not in a forest. You're like in a deep underground cavern. We could do. We could do awareness would work. I would be okay with awareness, and you could take a +2 from the cool idea using your sword as kind of like it's almost like a walking stick in some way.
Yeah.
Ooh, how's your construction?
My construct. Do I?
He's got a -1.
Yeah.
I think construction's a crafting skill, isn't it? Isn't construction?
Is it
crafting?
okay?
I think construction's like
that makes sense.
Is that carpentry? I think that's wood, and then like metallurgy, smithing.
12.
12 is a success in this case. I really just want 12s for this. So you start moving forward, like Salma kind of covers you, and you sneak into that alcove, and you see a pile of bones and pieces of animals and creatures and probably people. And you see amongst them is this very drenched, frightened looking remnant who is like whispering and barely breathing. And
must be
high or low?
Live.
Oh goodness. Okay. And he slowly tries to get out from underneath, but you see like the skeletal bones and everything starts to fall. Then the metal starts to shift and move and make a lot of noise. And he's and then you hear from the north, who's there? It's and then he suddenly frightens and he kind of like hides back down inside of this pile of bones and debris. Easel, what are you up to, buddy?
So I'm really good at wealth. And I'm thinking, if I was a stolen spider treasure, where would I be? So I want where would a stolen spider treasure be? Like, I gotta get into the mindset on this. Method act.
What doesn't even make sense at all?
I would take monsters if you wanted to roll to see where does a troll keep his prized possessions. I wouldn't roll wealth for this. I don't think wealth makes sense, man. Like, you could roll wealth, but I'm going to put a big penalty on it.
I'll take it.
It's not going to make it worth it. So,
insight, okay?
I'll take insight. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
You haven't really interacted with the troll, so you're not really kind of getting a read on them, but maybe just like,
I know you get into someone's house, so you get an idea of where it would be. Would you rather that I was like stealthing around looking for it? I'll take stealth.
Would I rather? You can roll stealth. I think stealth makes more sense.
Okay. Stealth is better for me, so that's fine. I'll allow it.
Okay.
Like, you'll allow it. That's great.
You deserve that.
I'm gonna use a point of grit.
No, you don't have to. You rolled a 6. You rolled a 6, a 1, and a 1. You can spend the 6 for effort to reroll one of the ones.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then roll another 1 with it.
And then roll a 1. Okay, so that gives me another. That's a 14 total.
14 total is excellent. You move about, and when you get, and we started to move your token on our StreamYard, when you get to like the northeast corner of this cavern, you see like a grouping of like various like they look almost jewel-like, kind of glistening as this pulsing mushroom in the corner seems to kind of just reflect the light. They're not moving, and you realize like stuck amidst the group of all these like shards of crystal of some kind, there is this large sphere that is actually quite big. It's not the size of your head. It's more, I would say, diameter wise, you're looking like maybe 3 to 4 feet. It's huge. It's a giant, it's a giant ball. and you can see it's kind of caught and stuck on some of these gems. And it does have like a rim around it that is metal, and it has all these weird like symbols and buttons and such on it. It's also that time when you see it that you spot coming around the corner from a different nook. You see this giant purple-skinned troll with all sorts of like moles and warts every which way, hair sort of kind of draped down, or maybe it's moss or just something stuck to their head. It's hard to really say. And you can see one hand is like scratching the back of their head, the other is like scratching like their butt as they're wandering up. Who's there? Who? And I need, you're fine, doesn't notice you. Salma, you're okay. Gaius, give me a stealth test. I'm gonna say, Esther, you probably moved up a little bit to be able to like kind of target this, but you're far enough away in the dark that I would say you're okay. But Gaius, you're like right up in the, one of his prized places.
You said a stealth test?
Yes. So you can flavor how you might quickly hide or something like that to potentially get a description bonus.
Ooh, dive into the pile of bones.
Ooh. No.
Cannonball.
A massive rattle echoes through the chamber.
I think he shouts cannonball before he dives in too. So it's like, oh damn it, found me. How'd you find me?
I mean, there was like clearly like all this other gore and viscera and stuff there, just like using his bulk and strength to just lift up a chunk of that and hold it in front of himself.
Their sight is based on movement.
Not here.
It's just like like this giant slimy corpse and all the viscera that's attached to it, and just holding it in front of himself.
Did you ever see like you're just hiding behind it, and you're holding it up and just hiding behind it? Did you ever see Saving Silverman? I think it was Saving Silverman.
Yeah.
With Jason Biggs. Do you remember that part when like Amanda Peet breaks free and starts like getting pissed and racing out, and like Jack Black hides behind a door and she puts a freaking washcloth over his head, and that's his hiding spot? Every time I see that, I lose it. It's so funny. It cracks me up. She pulls it off and he's just like, oh goodness. One of my favorite parts of any random movie. Okay, anyhow. That's amazing. Take a +2 from that amazing, ridiculous description. Did you try to hide behind a giant piece of meat?
He's just waking up. He's wiping the sleep from his eyes.
11. It's close.
11.
That's pretty good still, Gaius.
That is pretty good.
It's not good enough.
It is not good enough. As the troll lumbers over, what? And reaches out, and like this thing's huge. This thing like towers over top of you, by the way, and like basically plugs the hole between you and where your compatriots are. As you look around, there's no other way out, and reaches down and picks up the thing that you're using, and like, and then looks down and sees you. Hey, what are you? You thief! And goes to smash down on top of you. We're going to go into combat structure. It doesn't mean you have to fight it, but we're going to go into structure time as it now is aggressive. It doesn't mean you can't try to like do other things and flee, but I want to make sure we're structured. The good news is that it does not go first. Isel actually goes first. You hear the sounds of the troll has now called somebody a thief, but it's not near you. It's not you, Isel. Doesn't seem to notice you. What do you do?
Well, if it doesn't notice me, I will go ahead and do. Sorry, I got
reposition.
I didn't think about how far. Oh, that's the wrong one. Yeah, reposition to get 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I even. Yeah, reposition to go ahead and get behind that crystal. And then would we say that it's prep for like a skill check to start pushing it?
I would say prep, yeah. And I wouldn't even require a skill roll. You could definitely push this thing. That's not a problem. Unless like you're under attack, I probably wouldn't require it. So I would just say like I would waive the skill roll. It would still count as one of your options. But yes, you could start wheeling it. And then are you moving with the other with your other option?
I'd like to move there, get it rolling, but not actually move yet, and take a momentum just to bank that.
Okay, so you bank a momentum. You've got it ready to move. No problem. Okay, Esther, you see that there's troll now that has closed on where Gaius has been. You've managed to shake free. Like you look up to the north and you can see Isil, like because of your magic is like shook, like you shook this like metal rim around this orb free from this pile of treasure, and Isil grabs it. So you know it's found. So what do you do, Isil?
So I guess Esther's question would be whether it appears that Isil will be able to handle this solo. So does this seem...
As long as he's not being attacked, I think it's fine. Like, I think he could. Yeah. Or she could. Excuse me.
Okay, so she's got that, so I don't need to help. In that case, then, I want to see if I can take all of these sort of metallic things that I've been kind of pulling towards me. Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to do, and the word is escaping me, but it's sort of the like, it's like the D&D thing where you just throw a bunch of metal on the ground so that someone like trips and hurts themselves on it. Like
caltrops.
Thank you.
Like caltrops?
Caltrops.
Like, oh, I love that.
That's what I want to do with all of these like scraps, because now I've got all this metal that I don't really know what to do with, and it's like rusted daggers and axes and whatever. So now I want to like move it like right underfoot.
So why don't we do a prep? So we do a prep action, make a skill roll. I'll give you a choice. You can either do arcane or metallurgy to move it kind of underfoot of him and like to kind of get it to cover the various paths.
Definitely.
So either one of those would be fine.
Will be my roll for this.
Yeah.
15.
Nice.
All right. You managed to effectively move what looks like these old, like they're old, like lumberjack axes, some swords, some daggers, things like that. And you move and you kind of cover each direction. Okay. So what else do you want to do? Anything else you want to do with your actions here?
I would say probably, so if prep was the skill roll, I will also do a momentum just to make sure that I've got it ready to go. And then can I, let's see, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will do an Overwatch if that's doable. So like
absolutely.
So I could do Overwatch so that if the troll is about to move towards Isil, that I will take an action.
Yeah, I don't actually think you need to define what the trigger is. I think it's just like after someone either does an action or charges one of your allies. But yeah, we'll say that. Like if you see it kind of start moving, you're gonna fling like a fire thing or whatever, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I am protecting Isil's path back out.
Okay, here's the big one. This is going to determine whether this is a combat or whether this is just you get out of here in kind of comedic fashion. Gaius, you are in this room. You've got this cowering remnant in this pile of bones and debris next to you. You've got this troll in front of you that just ripped from your hand your hiding place and looks very angry at your intrusion. What would you like to do?
Anybody else? Okay. Nobody else jumped in. He realizes that in general, Lady Isil is a coward. Okay, he's gonna. The keyword here is pivot.
Okay.
You call me a thief. You are the thief. That is the property of Lady Isil. This is a worker from the lumberyard above. You are the thief. You have stolen this man. Where's your honor? You claim to call me a thief. That means you, in some sense, have some sense of honor. And in turn, I would turn that honor back upon you and say that you must understand that you are the ill-intentioned one here. You have made a grievous error.
Roll a leadership test for intimidation and honestly just confusion. As he's getting ready to swoop. They don't usually
in the background.
make noises like that. He's like, what? Is there someone over there I should look at? Okay. Oh my God. You crushed it. What was the total?
It was 2 6s for a total of 18.
Nice.
Oh my God. Unexpected consequences. Unexpected consequences. Target was 14 and you just rolled an 18. Okay. I think
could you use the 6 to reroll and possibly get a critical success?
No, I don't want to risk
it. Could also
lower.
And then he would lose the unexpected consequence.
I have the unexpected consequence already. There's no better result.
Okay. I just,
So maybe I think what we'll get is like he's not so much intimidated, but just utterly confused.
Huh? Wait. What? You not scream. What?
And you can tell he's very confused. You're saying words that he doesn't fully understand. You've not heard that these are the most intelligent of beings. And he's like,
I steal? I no thief.
And he kind of starts talking to himself at this point.
I don't steal. I take what's mine. And this is mine. So this is mine, but I took it some.
And so you can see he's very distracted. So that's first. So that's prep action. That's your skill roll. You got a second thing. What do you want to do?
I really don't want to.
You don't have to hit him. Like he's very confused, and he's like, "What do you want to do?"
I potentially maybe another prep action, like continuing. There's the guy who's hiding there, and while he's confused, I kind of would just, whether it's through brawn or something else, just kind of like shove this pile of refuse away to kind of give that dude a chance to get away.
Okay. Physical, I think, would be what we would use here. Yeah, give me a physical test.
I'll do that.
To just sort of free him from whatever he was kind of hiding and pinned beneath. Dude, you are rolling so well tonight.
Wow.
Other than the crit fails to start each session, you're rolling great.
Yeah.
So he's like he tells us
making up for that.
Yeah. And shortly after, like, come with me if you want to live sort of thing, he now confuses the troll and is just like using the bulk of his frame to kind of like pull the guy out from the refuse and like shove him back towards where the rest of the people are.
And so you see like and so he's like the guy, this remnant, and you see he comes up, he's dressed decently, right? But he's got worker clothes on and such. And he slides out at this point. And he starts sliding behind your back a little bit and then sliding to the side by the troll, who's is really kind of covering a lot of the way out from this small little alcove. And the troll's like,
did I steal? I don't want to be thief. I don't like thieves. I smash thieves. Should I smash myself? I don't want to smash myself.
And so he's just saying this to him. Gaius, you have another action. That was just one action. That was
part of prep.
2 effects. So you have one more action. So you've got this remnant, like now it's like Salma's there to grab him and kind of continue like ushering him back towards like the entrance.
I'm trying to think if there's another skill check.
Well, don't forget that you're still here and you need to get out.
I know.
Okay.
Because you could reposition. Like now that you've gotten the remnant
Yeah.
out, you could reposition and slide back towards Selma.
Yeah. Or do like another prep, so you do that stealth roll and move.
Or make the ultimate sacrifice and take that guy's spot in the bone pile. And keep the troll
Don't
distracted.
listen to Steven.
Throwing out
Just be
options.
like, it's okay. It's okay.
No,
Troll. It's fine.
Well, so
we all
initially,
make
like
mistakes.
just the way the picture is, I was initially thinking I would be able to move towards Selma because it looked like it was blocked for me.
Don't worry about that. Yeah.
You can slide.
You know, you get the best maps you can get. They're pre-made maps. Just another
okay.
JPEGA one. So you do the best you can. So like, no. You could slide past. So you wanna move? Is that the idea?
It's what I should do.
It is what you should do.
Hearing him be confused by that, I have another thing I'm tempted to do, just because it's more fun. I should just move.
Fun is fun.
Fun is fun. I would like to roll can you do 2 skill checks on a prep? Or does that have to be 2 different things?
Yeah, you've already done 2 skill checks, basically, because you did 1 skill check to confuse them and 1 skill check to get the remnant free. So you've done prep once. Technically, prep, you need to do 2 different things.
You need to.
But too late. I'm letting it go. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm going to say, it's fine. We'll let go.
So prep was on the
technically
first one.
too
I
much.
didn't know if I had done something else and then prep for the first one. I apologize.
No. And now you have a second action.
Okay. So now my second action, so we did 2 preps on the first action, or 2 skills prep on the first action. God, I just want to keep doing skill checks because it's dumb. And if it doesn't work, then I'll move. But because he's talking about
If it doesn't work,
things
he could hit you.
Bad.
Okay.
Things could go
I'll
bad.
move
Just
first.
point it out.
I'll move first, and as he's kind of like, he makes sure that the remnant gets out, and then Gaius will kind of like scooch during the confusion back towards Selma a little bit.
Okay.
It's good that you're asking these questions. If you take, are you a thief? You don't want to be a thief. Of course you don't. Because you have honor. You matter. Your choices matter. You are a sophisticated creature capable of making choices of right and wrong.
Suffocated creature.
Yes.
Suffocate.
Yes.
Roll another test. This isn't intimidation though anymore.
No,
really,
I was
right?
hoping to do sophistication because I heard him
do it
himself. I want to then lean in on sophistication to make him have sophisticated thoughts about his own state of being.
Go for it. Absolutely.
Why is this what the Legion Knight is doing?
Gaius
So
wants,
I don't know.
Gaius
You're
wants to
playing
leave
him.
the world a better place than he found it. He wants to introduce.
Jesus, you're rolling so
Wow.
good.
I can't. The stuff that I have like plus 3s and plus 4s on, no. But I roll sophistication against troll. Yeah.
I'm suffocated. Yeah, I've got honor.
Very suffocated.
Yeah. I don't like thief. I don't thief. I don't thief. Thank you, little. Now,
And he starts like looking through like his pile of things. Salma, it is your turn. You managed to kind of funnel, the NPC the kind of behind you, and they're like skirting towards the edge. Gaius is in front and kind of backing away, kind of talking the guy down a little bit. Not hitting Gaius somehow, which is shocking. What would you like to do?
I'm going to use the very clear distraction to help get the serpent out, as far away from here as possible.
But my Trey, think how funny it would be if you just shot him with your crossbow right now.
It's sure.
You hush. You
Gaius,
hush.
not the troll. Gaius.
It would
That would be
easier.
I would not be
suffocated.
surprised.
Okay. So you're trying to get who out now? I'm sorry, I didn't catch all that.
Remnant, the guy we saved.
I'll say take a prep action between like moving. You can kind of essentially move him with you. And I'll say with a skill roll, and you don't need to roll the skill roll. I'll say it's auto passing in this case because like you've already kind of funneling him. So you and the remnant are just sort of slowly backing away now. What is your mobility?
My mobility is 3.
All right, so we'll say you kind of get back towards like the mouth, or like
if you
just
do-
almost out of
If you do
complete vision.
reposition twice, you get move +2 and then another move +2.
I'm thinking of it in terms of like the prep action means like she's not just moving herself, but she's moving the remnant with her.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just
that
not,
makes sense.
I don't really feel like
Yeah.
making a physicality roll
Yeah,
every
yeah, yeah.
time because like you don't need to do that.
Sorry, my headphone fell out.
You're good.
Melissa was just trying to cheat. That's all. It's no big deal. If
Fair
you do
summary.
a second one of those, you're basically at the exit with the remnant.
But I didn't make the skill roll yet. What had you asked me for?
I was gonna say it was gonna be like a physical test just to move them, but you don't need to do it. Like if you want to roll it and see if you get like a really good roll and maybe not even have to do it a second time, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm fine to waive it.
No, I'm fine to use my second action to like.
Okay. So like
do that.
you like you kind of get the kind of put an arm underneath because he's kind of limping. You can tell he's injured, and you get him. So you and him essentially get to the exit from this cave. Okay. So that was Salma. Then it is the troll's turn. Okay. So I'm going to play this out. I just said that he was searching for you. So I'm going to take the prep action. And normally NPCs don't have to do a lot of skill rolling, but I'm going to play it out. Let me see. What has he got? Where is he at?
Is he rolling an awareness to like search through the file?
That's what I'm doing. I'm rolling to see if he like finds anything and he sees Gaius like leaving behind him. So he's got like I think a 2 to his attribute. What does he have? All right, here we go. All right, let's see how he does. Okay, so Gaius, you just hear all sorts of stuff getting thrown. Where you go? Where are you? And he's like picking things up. He's like shaking it. You in here? Where? And so that's going to be his skill roll. I'll do a momentum because there's really not much else to do because I don't think he's going to move yet. Then I think he's going to do it again. And this is again just to see if he notices this. I rolled, by the way, 2 1s on my last roll.
I wondered about that laughing.
Jeez. Okay, that's an 11. I was so close this time. Okay, so he's... And so he kind of gives up, looking in his pile, and he turns around, and then he sees like the tail end of Gaius. Hey, wait! And then, so for the second half of his prep, he'll move. So he's like following you at this point, but I'm out of actions. Okay. Isel, you've got this big ball of goo up in the northeast corner. What do you want to do?
You said it was sitting in a bed of gems, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you don't get wealth +3 by leaving gems behind. So I would like to take a prep action.
Yeah.
And just grab as many of those as I can with half of the prep action.
Okay.
I assume it'd be like equivalent to drawing a weapon, right? Or would it be a skill?
Yeah, we'll call it a draw. You're drawing stuff off the ground. Sure, that's okay. I'll take that. You're drawing. Sure, you're putting them. Okay, you put them in your equipment. Yep.
You want me to roll?
Moving a carried item into or out of your hands, so you can like pick them up and move them like into your bag. I'll say that. That makes sense.
All right. And then with the second half of the prep, I'd like to actually get the ball moving.
Right,
and I've got mobility of 4.
Of how much?
4.
All right, so you get... Okay, so you're not quite halfway to the exit. You have a second action. What do you want to do with the second action?
Would I be able to keep it moving and reposition, or would it take prep again to keep rolling it? Prep kind of
I would say you're rolling it, so I would say the prep was more just kind of getting it started, and so now it's a ball, so it's going to roll. So I would say
so with reposition, I would do then to move 6.
All right. So then 3, 4, 5. And so you're basically right next to Esther now.
Just pulling
perfect.
her over with this crystal ball.
You roll her over, like, you want the ball, take the ball. And she's pinned beneath it. Esther, there you are. You see Salma sneaking out of the cave with one of these workers. You see Isel rolling this giant ball down. You see Gaius slowly backing away from a troll who's like, hey, wait a second. Where are you going? And it's like slowly coming after him, but not like coming after him like he's swinging at him, but like, hey, wait. Chasing after him. What do you do, Esther?
So I would say that Esther would do the reposition action to move herself just on the space that Isel just vacated, so that she's got a little bit better view of what's going on with Gaius and the troll. And then I would say she's again going to do an overwatch so that she can kind of shoot a fireball if she needs to.
Okay. All right.
Could I say one thing, Esther?
Yes,
if you
sir.
took the prep action instead of reposition, you would still be able to move the one space, and you could get a momentum if you want.
That's playing the game right. I will do
There you
that. I got 2 momentum.
Yeah. Good point.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, comes to you. The troll looked all throughout for you and is now kind of like, wait. But you're now past him. You see Salma is gone. You can see Isel rolling past on the other side of the cave and is right towards her. Everyone's there. Everyone's near the exit. What do you do, guys?
But he's still like right next to me, right?
He's next to you, but like you're going first, man.
True.
And he's a big lumbering
I'll
troll.
still do prep because I feel like there should be some amount of skill check left here.
Okay.
Well done.
What do you? Okay.
We have established that thieves take things. But you are not a thief because you're sophisticated.
No.
You don't take. You do not take things. And what is the opposite of a thief? A thief is someone who takes. What about someone who gives? I am the opposite of a thief because I give. And Gaius will take out his torch. Doesn't really matter what it is. It's just the act. We're talking about the opposite of a thief is someone who gives. And he'll make sure to put it out and lay it in front of him. I give this to you, you fine and sophisticated creature. I thank you for your hospitality. And I take my leave.
Mine?
Yours. I give it to you. From one not thief to another not thief.
Roll a prep. So roll your skill check.
I leave it to you. What you've.
I mean, sophistication. Clearly,
Is there sophistication? It's
Go ahead.
sophistication.
Go ahead. It's probably not at all how you're supposed to use it, but go ahead. It's funny. Let's go ahead and do it. It's good.
It's so dumb.
Why are you rolling so well?
Why is Gaius so good at being sophisticated?
And he takes it.
Thank you. Mine.
Yes.
When saying.
He reaches down and he picks something up and he hands it to you.
Give. You.
You have like a femur in your hand.
He will bow deeply, and then for the other part of his prep action, move. And
I'm gonna say, we break combat. He's just he's enamored with this. As you all leave the cave without fighting the troll, who now has a torch and is very happy.
This also ended up being a diplomacy map.
I said it was a diplomacy map.
You didn't lie. It was a diplomacy map.
I never lie.
I figured out the alliteration later. It's a diplomacy diagram.
Oh, I like it.
I like it too.
Okay, so
That guy was gonna
you
kick
guys
my
managed.
butt.
You guys managed to get out of that room without fighting the troll. You rescue And as you're moving back, he introduces, so he's Foreman Masuka. You just literally got the foreman, who's, you could tell there's like a big bite mark in his leg, like the troll kind of gnawed his leg a little bit. But what we'll say, as to kind of start wrapping this up, is that you are led back by the spiders to that major chamber. Isel, unless you have any shenanigans, do you just deliver the sphere without any issue?
I don't have a problem giving it up. I mean, it's too big for me to put in my backpack, so.
Okay. So you roll it over and you see it slosh around. There's like stuff swimming in it, like you can see as well. It's hard to really tell, but it's very viscous, very thick. And you roll it up, into that big chamber. A few of the guard spiders come up and begin kind of taking it and like kind of create this like weave so that each of them holds aside and lifts it up and kind of carries it as like each of them has a strand on either side. And the lead spider, this emissary, this queen,
"You have kept your bargain. I will keep mine."
And then she like clitters a bit, and you see all these little spiders begin to uncocoon half of the loggers and start to escort them down. And you are continually escorted throughout your time in the tunnels. As you get about 24, almost 30 people, some people probably died already, unfortunately, but you managed to get out with some. Okay, Isel, you got something?
Could I ask Masuka to point out the most productive workers to release first?
Oh, God.
Because we got to get this logging camp up.
Okay. You do that, and they look at you.
Wow.
And they shake their head.
Oh.
And as you leave for the surface, you return back to the logging camp, having made a deal, having rescued half the loggers, but then must quickly get on your journey back to get all of the cattle that you've now promised before this giant spider web kind of kills the rest of them. And I think that is where we're going to go ahead and end our adventure right there. Well done. Not how I thought that was going to end, but lo and behold, there we are. Okay.
And the troll paid for the cattle with the gems.
Fantastic.
Nice work, everybody.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That was wonderful. All right. So that is Fragged Kingdom, or at least it's Fragged Kingdom the way like we play it. So I think we did some of it right. But you should check it out for yourself. So check the description, look for the link, go look at it on BackerKit, see if it's for you. It's a pretty awesome game, really cool lore. We barely scratched the surface. There's thousands of things that you can potentially do in this. So many cool things, species that we didn't even get into, places we didn't go. So definitely recommend you take a look. We're going to close up shop here, tell you what we do. Maitre, you run a YouTube channel. Tell us briefly about where we can find you.
I do. I'm at Plays Games on YouTube, where I make system agnostic or multi-system content about tabletops that center the GM and player experience.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Steven, you're a game designer, my friend, and you've made a game. You want to tell us a little bit about your game?
Yeah, it's a Weird West action horror game called Huckleberry. It's a lot of fun. Imagine like Call of Cthulhu with cowboys, and you end up fighting the monsters. It's a lot of fun to play. Check out all the links at huckleberryrpg.com. We'll be doing a print run by the end of the year. So if you want more information about that, go to the website.
Awesome. Fantastic. And then as for the rest of us, or Adventures in Lollygagging, we play all sorts of games on the internet. We got a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers, and you can check us out, Adventures in Lollygagging on YouTube. We stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays because I have no life. That's basically what it is. But that's it for us. Thank you so much for watching, and hope you enjoy Fragged. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.